Hello, everyone, and welcome to another salty experience. Did you share Jesus throughout the week? I hope you did. Today, we are here to have an interview. We are in the month of May, and Mother's Day has ended, but we are still here with a beautiful mother, a mother of 4 strong boys. We are here to have an interaction with her. I'll allow her to introduce herself.
My name is Grace Osei, and I'm her aunt.
Yes, she's my aunt. Okay, and I've loved the way I've seen my cousins, and these 4 boys, they're older than me, but they've grown up so beautifully, educated, so sweet. And I want to know how you did it. 4 strong boys. And your last born, how old is he?
Oh, honestly, I always get it wrong, and he always gets. I said, "Mom," and I said, "I can't remember. I have to always count back and say 91, 93.
Okay.
Then I get right.
So her last
It's
born
about 20 something, right?
Yes, so you go on.
I have 4 boys, 4 sons, and I can't say. I can't take the credit for it because I think it very much depends on both parents. I tend to be very outspoken while my husband is more laid back. So there's a balance in how we parent in our home. So that's sort of shape the way we parent. There's some things that I dominate, and there's other things that my husband takes over.
Wow. So it's both.
It's a joint thing. I strongly believe that the input has been from both sides, right? It's not. I can't take the credit for myself.
They say male mothers, like boy moms, are very hard. Is it true? You say you need to be hard.
Well, you have to be hard in a lot of ways, because while you want your boys to be strong, you also want to develop their feminine side. You also want to teach them that you can be, you don't have, strong is not just a physical attribute. You can be a strong man. It doesn't mean you have to project yourself as all macho, muscles, everything. You have to be strong in the sense that as a man, you should be able to make your decisions, stick by them. And first of all, you have to learn to honor and love yourself in order for you to, project that onto another person. If you don't love yourself, it's almost impossible to love somebody else, right?
Wow.
Doesn't the Bible say we should love the neighbor as ourselves? So we must first love ourselves so we can give that love to someone else.
So you don't need to necessarily be a strong woman to be.
But my kids tell me I'm being strong, maybe because of also where we are. We live in America.
Exactly.
And because we're in America, it's very important as a black mother for me to be strong, because I have to project myself as being able to defend my children. So I'm soft until it involves my children, and then then I'm very strong, right? Because I will not just take any kind of treatment towards my boys, right?
So that you said, I was going to ask that question. Being in America, I see a lot of black boys that either turn out to be thug boys or are on the street. Some of them don't. Some children living in America don't want to go to school and all that. How were you able to groom your kids? You have lawyers, you have people who have PhD hold. How were you able to do that?
Well, again, it's from how it starts at home. We believe that education is very important. At the same time, I feel that even as an educated woman, there are certain career options I could have taken. But being in America, I had to come to a decision of deciding what comes first. Is it my boys or is it my profession? Because I can always have a profession, but I may have lost my sons along the way. So it was a decision I had to make personally. I put aside my career so I would be able to raise my kids. I made a decision that until my boys were old enough to speak for themselves and tell me what was happening to them, I wouldn't work. So I would be at home with them. That's a very tough decision. But I was prepared to go through that.
Sorry for cutting you. She's a lawyer. She's called to the bar. So for her to put it down, she did.
So you always have to choose. And remember, is it your children? Because once you lose a certain stage of your children's life, you can't make it up. It's gone. Right. And imagine putting 4 weird men out into the world. you have to put in your best so that they can turn out and be successful individuals.
Did you ever want a daughter?
You know what? People ask me that question a lot, and I never let me put it this way. I grew up as a tomboy.
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of male cousins, and I enjoyed being a boy, being one of them. So when they played ball, I was the goalie because they wouldn't let me be any other position. So I've always liked boys. I always feel boys are more, I don't know, for some reason I get along with boys.
Boys more than
Through
girls.
college and everything, my best friends have always been male.
So God knew you were more
Right,
connected.
and the person I was named after, my aunt is also called Grace. She had 5 boys.
Whoa.
So when I had 1, 2, I knew I was going to have boys. So I never really desired to have girls.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I never. When just my last one was born, in the delivery room, all the nurses went quiet when he came out. So I knew that. Well, I just said, "Give me my baby," and they were like, "Oh," they thought I would be disappointed. So I was like, "Just give me my son." I was happy with it. Yeah, I was okay with it. When I was going to the hospital, their brothers told me to bring back a baby boy anyway. So
they didn't want a baby girl.
No.
So that means your son didn't even want a sister.
No, they didn't know how
They
to behave with a sister, right? But they were okay with So I've never really wanted girls. I mean, I have lots of nieces, other people, so that I can have as my daughters, right? So
yeah, that's so good. So when you look back, do you feel like, wow, it's good I stopped to take care of my boys before continue with my career?
Definitely, most definitely. I have no regrets. I would do that all over again. Over and over. I actually feel I didn't even spend enough time with them.
Wow.
Right. I wouldn't miss one thing I don't miss anything at all. I would do it all over again because the sort of, interaction that I had with them, watch them grow, what each person's individual character develop and everything. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh, that's beautiful. So let's how is it like to be a lawyer in Ghana, relocating to America to start life? Did you want to come to Ghana to continue your career? You just wanted to do it because of marriage?
Well, when I got married, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to practice law in Ghana, but it turned out that my husband had an opportunity to go abroad. So I went abroad. But at the back of my mind, I always said that at some point I would be able to practice
it.
Right. So I've always felt I'll be able to practice. But in the meantime, my job was to be, a mother first, and then whatever came later was fine.
Did you do anything else, like career-wise?
Yes, I started working. Because I had children, I discovered that if I worked in a school environment, I could have my kids with me. So when my kids got older, I decided to work in the schools. So I would find a job as an HR person. I actually became a human resources manager. So even though I couldn't practice, I couldn't go to the bar, I handled all their legal affairs, in my, I could doing workman's comp and other things with them. And then I started noticing that the agency that I worked for worked with children that had behavioral problems. Children that were placed in special education classes. So I actually went and did a master's in special education.
Wow.
So I would know more about that field. So I feel like I developed a different area which allows me to either work in a legal field or work in an education field.
I asked because I wanted you to advise women who feel like, okay, they have given birth, so they have to stop everything and just take care of their kids. So I now understand that you can be strategic with it. You can work and still be there for your children.
Definitely.
That's why I asked that question.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to a woman who feels like, I have to stay home and do absolutely nothing and be a stay-at-home mom and take care of my boys? Is that something they can do, or they just have to absolutely be a stay-at-home mom?
No, because you see that old concept of a stay-at-home mom not doing anything, just taking care of the kids, it doesn't exist anymore. Because even when you are at home with your kids, they are learning from you every moment of the day. You're actually teaching them. They are watching you. Kids observe you. They see how you carry yourself, the way you talk to them. So they are learning. So you are a teacher, even though you think you are a
stay-at-home mom.
You are your children's first teacher. So you are teaching them while they are with you. So even while you are at home, you can take the opportunity to learn about child development, interact with other mothers as well, and develop yourself as a mother and a woman and a professional while you're still being a stay-at-home mom. Right.
So there's a strategy to being a stay-at-home mom. Develop yourself. I'm so glad I had you here because a lot of people feel like when you, as a woman, when you give birth, sometimes you just have to throw everything away and stay at home. But now we know you can be strategic. I really admire the strategy you took to be in something educational, like so you can be in a school environment, so you can your eyes can still be on watch for your kids. So as a woman, an elderly woman who has achieved a lot, who has been able to bring up four strong boys, what advice would you give to young girls? We'll talk about it first in marriage, then we'll go to career wise.
In marriage, I think that first of all, marriage is a very serious institution. I think people should approach marriage in the sense that it's a long term investment. Whatever you're going to put in your marriage is what's going to come out of it. So make it your goal that you are going to be. First of all, invite Christ into your marriage. That should be the foundation. If Christ is the foundation of something, it will survive. You will build on it. There will be challenges. There will be, all kinds of crises. But you will find ways to grow together and develop. Right. So, and try to. I always say, learn from other people, watch other people, listen to other people, and try to make yourself teachable.
Wow.
So you can learn from older people who have done whatever you think
You are doing.
you're doing or you are aspiring to. What I do is I always find some people that I admire and try to see how they got there. Exactly. And try to, find their strategies, listen to, educational seminars, read. Help yourself learn things every moment that you can.
So that's for marriage wise. What about career wise? What career you think women have to choose a particular career because we are women? What advice would you give to a young lady who wants to pick a career?
I think that it also, it should all depend on the choices that you want to make in life. Choose a career that fits the goal that you have in mind. If you truly want to be a successful mother, I don't think that you can give 100% to your career.
Wow.
You have to make a choice. In everything, there's a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. I turn down jobs and promotions because it will take away from my having time with my children.
Wow.
So you have to be able to make the choice that works best for you. But then don't think that because you have children, don't see them as something that's slowing you down. See it as one more thing you are adding to your portfolio. Because when you're in a certain position and I say, I'm a mother of 4 boys, it earns me some credential that if she's been able to manage a household of 4 boys, that means I have some skills that I can bring to the workplace. So whenever you say you're a mother, a parent or something, mothering is a very important and hard job. It's not all rosy and things. You have to know how to manage your time, feed your children, of course, take care of your husband and all the other household things. So it's all very important. But the important things are choose a career knowing very well what you have to sacrifice to get where you want to get to.
Wow. So my last question, last but one question is, as a woman, how will you take care of yourself with things like husband, children, career? How will I take care of myself, like personally?
I think it's very important to remember that you are an individual. And I always believe that you can only give to people what you have inside of you. Motherhood takes a lot out of you. A lot. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be physically tired. And so it's important for you to take care of yourself. Make sure you have time set some time apart for yourself. Even if it just means just sitting there and not doing anything. Your children will live for 1 more hour. Even if you have to go to a room and lock that door. Take a magazine, take a piece of paper, scribble down your dreams. Don't stop dreaming. Have time for yourself because you still have your dreams and goals and everything. You're just putting aside for some, to raise your children or family. And don't forget your husband. I think it's very important to remember that your husband is very important as well. In as much as your children and your husband matters as well. You have to have time for your husband. So find time. We women, we multitask. We need to make that time. So find some time that this 10 minutes or 15 minutes of the day or whatever time you choose, the interaction is just between you and your husband.
Wow.
Just between you and your husband. And encourage each other throughout the day. Send your husband a message. Hi, how's your day going? I'm thinking about you. Something sweet like that. So it just keeps things alive because marriage can get very still quickly because you'll be bogged down with things.
Yes.
Have to worry about school, homework, everything. The last thing you want to think about is what your husband needs, but you also have to remember he's also a human being. He also needs attention.
Yes.
So give him the attention that you're giving your children, and make your children see that dad is an important part of your household because they're looking at you.
Wow.
They're learning from you. So if dad doesn't matter, they're going to think they don't matter when they are adults.
Yes.
Right. So let them all know. We have a thing in our house that everybody's king for a day, from dad to all the kids when they were little.
Nice.
Right. So I make a crown and you're king and you get to have whatever it is you want that day. Right, when they were little. So they always look forward to having their day.
To be a king of that
Right,
day.
that day is
So
all
mom
yours.
will be a king of or a queen of the day.
I'm always queen.
And then
Mom's
dad will be a king of the day and the kids too.
So
That's interesting.
So dad gets to choose something that's day. And we always all eat that thing because we force dad to choose ice cream cake so that we
can't eat it for daddy.
So it's important, but halftime is find time for yourself. Even if it means meeting up with your girlfriend for just 5 minutes. Make yourself matter. Make yourself matter, because if you put yourself aside, eventually you'll be worn down. You think, everybody's counting on me. I have nothing to give. I'm tired. I'm always doing things for people. So make yourself matter. And trust me, when you do that, your husband will pick up to you and say, Mom matters. The mom's tired. I have to take the kids away so mom can just rest or something like that, right? So I have mom there, I go on strike, I don't do anything.
Wow.
Right.
So any advice you'd want to give, that's the final thing then we
it's not, with especially young women now, I always tell them it's not all about you. And remember, your friendships, they don't remain the same when you are a mother or a parent. You see, your priorities is changing. When you are a married person, it's no longer about you and your girlfriends, it's about you and your husband making decisions. Do not share private things about your marriage and things with your girlfriends. It's between you and your husband. So make that a priority. And then keep your friendships, but know that it has changed because you are now a parent, or, because of your career. As your career changes, some of your friends slip along the way because they just don't match with your life goals at a certain point. So think about yourself, but don't be selfish. A lot of young people are like, but I want to do this, but don't worry about it. Whatever comes, you can build upon it. Because sometimes you might think that I'm going to be an architect, and then you are introduced to a certain field that looks like it's completely, but you'll be surprised that whatever skill you learn from that new area, you can always use in another. It just broadens your outlook and makes you a more rounded, successful individual. So.
Thank you so much. We are so grateful to have you today.
Thank you. I enjoyed speaking with you.
This has been an educative session for young women, for mothers, in fact, for parents, for children, for everybody. And I've enjoyed this session a lot. I hope you keep sharing Jesus to the world. I hope you keep telling people about how amazing Jesus is. Keep watching Salty TV. It has been a beautiful Salty experience. Bye. I am your host, Anna K.